We are examining the effects of progressive muscle relaxation and deep breathing exercises on newly diagnosed hypertensive patients. I'm Desiree Journay.
I'm Leah Farn.
I'm Grant Young.
I'm Brooke Demeter.
And I'm Lindsey Jenkins.
Tell me about your topic.
Well, since there are over 65 million Americans that have hypertension, it was important for us to look at different therapies that can be used to help control the hypertension. Typically, it would be either medication or lifestyle modifications for patients to, combine to help get the best benefit to control their hypertension. So a few research studies have been done. One looked at slow and fast deep breathing as a method to help lower blood pressure, and the results did show significant decreases in blood pressure. Additional exercises and walking, such as like yoga or daily exercise, have both shown to be effective in controlling systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Other research looked at the effects of listening to soft classical music as a method to control hypertension. It's said to decrease the stimulation of the sympathetic nervous system to help decrease blood pressure. Finally, progressive muscle relaxation has also been proven to be effective in lowering blood pressure.
Why did you choose this topic?
Well, as nurses, we find it important to help patients establish goals, not only medical goals such as medication, but look at it as a holistic approach and apply exercise and deep breathing strategies to daily life to help lower blood pressure.
What are the identified gaps in literature?
Some of the gaps that we identified in our literature review are that in some of the studies, the subjects that were included, some of them were on antihypertensive medication and some of them were not. It was not a criteria either way. So it was unknown whether the results were because of the progressive relaxation and the deep breathing or if they were due to the effects of the medication. Also, some of the studies were very specific on the population that they included. Some of them were 65 and older, so they were very specific, so it was hard to generalize them to a broader community. So we wanted to make that, close.
Tell me about your study. What question do you hope to answer and how do you plan on doing that?
Well, the actual goal of our research is to determine if the two non-pharmacological interventions that we chose, progressive muscle relaxation and deep breathing exercises, we're going to compare the two to see which one is more effective in lowering blood pressure. We also, our main criteria is that they must be newly diagnosed hypertensive patients that have not been started on a medication regimen. Brooke said earlier that one of the gaps in our research was that many of the studies that they carried out, some were on hypertensive medication and some were not. So we want to make sure that, to see if these techniques are actually lowering the blood pressure and it's not the actual medication. So what we're going to do is we're going to carry out a quasi-experimental design type research. We're going to have two comparative groups, one that's going to receive the progressive muscle relaxation techniques and the deep breathing techniques. We're going to have randomized samples from across a range of rural and urban settings. And then the participants will randomly be selected into which technique they're going to use. They will carry this out two days a week for 4 weeks. Do their technique 2 days a week for 4 weeks, and then we're going to use an independent t-test to analyze the data to see what we get.
What are the advantages and disadvantages to using your population?
Well, an advantage to using this population, again, like Brooke said earlier, that many of the studies were very focused in on specific age groups. So we decided to focus on a wider range. Our age group is 18 years and up. Another advantage is that we feel like we will be able to collect more data, and that it will also be more randomized. A disadvantage, though, is also that we do have a wide range of participants, so that could also alter our results.
Have you identified the strengths and limitations to your study, and if so, what are they?
Some of the strengths to our research proposal are that we're getting informed consent from each subject that's involved in the study. None of the patients in our research proposal have been started on antihypertensive medications, and so it gives us more of a baseline rather than some patients being on medications and some patients not being on medications, and to see if that's going to skew the results. Some of the limitations is that there could be bias in this due to one of the researchers maybe having a negative opinion on one of these techniques, and they could bring that into how they describe the results. Some people may not want to try these alternative therapies and may decide just to turn to medications, and that could include a high dropout rate.
How can you apply your new knowledge to practice, and what are the anticipated barriers?
Some of the ways that we can apply this to practice is that using these alternative therapies will improve overall health by reducing stress and anxiety. By reducing the stress, it's proven that it will decrease the blood pressure because stress and anxiety have been shown to increase systolic and diastolic blood pressure. These alternative therapies are easy to do as well as inexpensive. They help with medication compliance problems that people have, and reducing stress will help patients recover faster, which will help the hospital turnover rate increase.
Alright, so now Desiree is going to bring the camera a little closer so that you can see our poster up close and personal, since you can't be here to actually see it in person.